Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I wanted to talk about Venus conjunct to Juno in Synastry, and oh my goodness, you guys, this is probably my most requested video ever, even before the last few days that I started doing a bunch of Juno videos. This one has been requested for a while, and I was just waiting till I really felt ready, like I had meditated on the aspect enough. But yeah, here it is, you guys, the long-awaited Venus conjunct Juno Synastry video. So Juno represents commitment in a relationship. So Juno and Venus are actually quite similar, but Venus is more to do with, love and our heart, our feminine energy, our self-worth, our sensuality, what we value, what we, find pleasure in. Whereas Juno is more serious and more about how we behave once we are actually in a committed relationship, whereas Venus can be more about what we do to attract that relationship in, right? Our allure, our attractiveness, our flirting, right? But then Juno takes it deeper, and Juno is how we actually behave once we're in that relationship that's marriage or committed or long term, right? But Juno can also show the ideal marriage partner, which can be different from the Venus level sensual attraction, right? So when these are merging in a conjunction, they're united, we're really going to see that the two people are each other's type. That's the biggest energy at play here, is that the Juno person sees the Venus person as total husband or wife material. And then the Venus person sees the Juno person as their fantasy lover, someone who just really possesses those qualities in a relationship that are really exciting and really pleasurable. That's the thing about Venus, in a strong conjunction, is that it can definitely be sexual, but it's also very much enjoyable, right? Imagine a warm, soft, fuzzy blanket, and you're a Taurus person and you have that blanket on you. That's a Venus aspect, a trine or a conjunction to Venus. So this one really shows that, yeah, we're each other's type. But on the downside of this conjunction, because we're dealing with essentially two feminine energies, and this really does have an energy of a peaceful union, a pleasurable union. We could, with this conjunction, see two people in their feminine energy. So what I mean by that is if there is a conflict, or if there is something that's wrong or something that's bothering either person, it's we just like each other so much and we feel so much pleasure in each other's company that we might not actually vocalize the concern. And that might seem like a more minor thing, but when we have too much of a good thing, too much Venus or too much Venus Juno without a strong Saturn or Mars or something, it could actually lead a relationship to not form, because we're not sharing our truth. We're not sharing our authenticity and what we really want from the relationship. But that's going to be more rare, and that is the only potential downside, really, is that we like each other so much and there's so much harmony and there's so much feminine energy that it's one person might not take the more direct approach to say the things that are really actually bothering you, right? But yeah, as far as committed relationships go, Juno's really interesting. And you'll notice this if you're an astrologer, you've been doing charts for a long time. You could see people with synastry that if you weren't including Juno, you might be what's going on here? Why are these people even together, right? But then you throw in Juno and you see these strong conjunctions, one like this, and you're really oh, okay, so essentially they are each other's type, right? And they feel good together. The Venus person is really going to feel an increased self-worth in the presence of the Juno person. And they're also going to feel very beautiful and very attractive, and The Juno person could even help the Venus person increase their wealth, increase their attractiveness. You also want to look at the house and the sign placement of the Venus in the Venus person chart and then the Juno in the Juno person's chart, and you can see like the energy that's coming through this conjunction, because the signs are going to modify this, right? The houses are going to modify this. We got to see what's being activated, right? But like, for example, like let's say, so I'll just share like my own examples in my chart. So like I have Venus in my first house in Aries. So someone's Juno coming into my first house in Aries is really gonna, make me feel like physically beautiful. Like the first house represents the appearance, but also Aries is a more masculine, like kind of direct sign. So this is also going to be like a fiery, energetic conjunction, activating energy for me, activating like, willpower and like primal Aries fire, versus when I have someone's Venus conjunct my Juno, which my Juno's in Capricorn in my 10th house. This is a lot more related to career and someone activating like more of my public image and like that love of work that I have. People with Juno and Capricorn in the 10th house are very much focused on like their mission and their purpose. And so when I've had someone's Venus conjunct my Juno in my 10th house in Capricorn, it's very much like an activation of like, wanting to do more content like this, like this is like my 10th house, right? Or, thinking about like the bigger mission that I have, right? Now, either way, there's a lot of very loving feelings generated with this conjunction, loving warmth. Now, like I said, the Juno is going to be the more serious person. They could, on the negative side, see the Venus person as like frivolous or like, like they need to help them become more focused or become more committed in that area of life, right? That is represented by this conjunction, like whatever house they're falling in, the Juno person can actually like help the Venus person get a bit more serious or get a bit more committed. Like, for example, let's say that the Venus person is like dishonoring their body, like let's say they're not being healthy, or they're not focusing on their beauty or their routine or whatever, and like the Juno person can come in and actually help them like get focused. But it's not with like the Juno person telling them, hey, you need to do that. It's just like a natural activation that happens with this conjunction. So when I say that this is like an increase of self-worth, that's kind of like what I mean. It's like the Juno person doesn't have to be critical or doesn't have to be saying things. It's like just being in the presence of someone whose Juno is conjunct your Venus. It activates this like deeper level of self-worth for you, and like you can make better choices to do with that energy, right? So in that sense, it's like it's serious and lighthearted at the same time. The Venus person showers the Juno person in like a loving warmth, and they see in them qualities that they love and that they are and that they, need to be in order to feel more feminine. So it's a very, very positive thing to see in Synastry. It's one of those things that, yeah, like I said, you guys probably know this too, like I don't even work with many asteroids, to be honest. I work with the major asteroids, but like Juno is the one that I predominantly focus on. I don't go too crazy into asteroids because there's enough with the planets, I think. But like Juno has just been so significant, and like it's so obviously noticeable that it's a very strong indicator of compatibility. So it's something that I always look at when I'm doing relationship charts and Synastry, because it's something that you can really see like make or break a Synastry chart. But now, a lack of Juno in a Synastry chart isn't going to show that like they don't become committed. Because we could still embody the energy of someone's Juno sign even without a direct aspect to it, right? So you don't have to worry if you don't have Juno in Synastry, but like if you do have it, it's definitely an added bonus and a showing that like, yeah, you really are each other's type. And like in this case, it's like you're both each other's type, but like the Juno person sees the Venus as like definitely like the marriage partner type in a very sensual, very like attractive way. And then the Venus person definitely sees the Juno person as someone who activates their best and activates their like loving warmth and generosity, which is, you know, a really good vibe to have. And yeah, the only downsides are what I've said, that like this might be a more feminine energy dominated relationship. We might want to just keep the peace. We might want to be focusing on beauty or superficial things, rather than like really speaking those hard words. Although if someone's going to speak the words, it would probably be Juno. Juno's the more serious one of this connection. Now, you could also say that this is a really faded connection. Like, there's something that we're seeing in each other that is activating the highest level of relationship energy that we're meant to embody in this lifetime. So I would say that this, I mean, it's not necessarily as karmic as like a Venus Saturn or something, but there definitely is a bit of that faded energy that, like, when you really find someone who is this much your type, it's a very healing, activating experience, even if like you never actually get in a relationship. It's still like when we find someone who embodies these qualities for us, it's a very activating experience, and it definitely helps you on your path to finding your true soulmate. So this aspect alone won't say, oh, you're going to be together forever. Sorry, I know you guys probably want to hear that. But it will say that like something very deep within you to do with love life and relationships is going to activate. So like if you have a friend with this aspect and obviously you're not, you know, you're not dating them, you guys are still helping each other as far as relationships go. Like you're helping each other embody that energy that's going to attract or manifest your soulmate. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this conjunction in Synastry if you've had it. I'd love to know how that's been for you. And thank you for the requests, you guys. Keep those requests coming, and more videos will come soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys. Bye.